Heyo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. AEW rolled into Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania tonight with a show that was almost hot enough to burn the Steel City right to the ground and make steel itself melt from the walls. I'm overreacting. That's a little bit much. This was a very good show, but even this very good show suffers from a very few obvious mistakes, and we are here to talk about those mistakes right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show's AEW Dynamite Review and Reaction Show. Everything wrong with AEW Dynamite. Let's do it.
Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
This was a fun show, man. This was a fun show to watch. We had a lot of very good matches. We had the semifinals of the Tag Team Championship Tournament come closer to the conclusion, which will be happening next week. We got a whole lot of great stuff happening in AEW, but we have a whole lot of negative stuff as well. And these are just a few things that they're probably going to work out the kinks down the line, but it was far from a perfect show. So let's start talking about it the way we always do. Get ready to drop your hammers and feel free to do so in the comment section down below. Use the sledgehammer emoji and tell me what it is about tonight's AEW Dynamite you did not like. There was a lot of it to enjoy, and I know most of you probably enjoyed all of it. But I want to know at least one thing you guys did not like. And then while you're down there making your comments, don't forget to smash that like button if you enjoyed today's broadcast, and don't forget to consider giving us a subscribe if you want to become a member of one of the newest, fastest rising factions in the whole entire YouTube community. The Sledgehammer Army is growing by the day, and we are over 2,000 subscribers strong, and we want you to join in on all the fun. All you got to do is hit that subscribe button right now if you have fun today, and we guarantee you are going to have fun today because we had fun watching AEW Dynamite. And I'm not an AEW cocksucker. There's going to be a lot of stuff here that some of you hardcore AEW people tuning in for the first time might hear me say that you might not agree with. And it's okay, you are free to disagree with me on this channel, but my opinions are my own, and allow me to share those opinions with you guys as you enjoy me to do. The first matchup of the evening started, and it was the first of two Tag Team Championship Tournament matchups, which was going to feature the Lucha Brothers versus my personal friends from House of Glory, Private Party. Now, we all know that I'm biased, and I was pulling for House of Glory's own Private Party to win this whole entire tournament. As soon as I seen they were across the ring from the Lucha Brothers, I knew that for a fact that wasn't going to be the case, especially given that SCU advanced to the semifinals as well, making everything that is happening on this night and in the future just seemingly a little bit predictable, but we'll give them a little bit of forgiveness for that. What I cannot forgive is them having no entrances for either one of these two guys. Private Party has one of the best entrances that AEW has, with the whole, velvet rope and the bouncer and the club and the drinks and the everything going on. But I guess they didn't feel like they had enough time to show us them coming out. The Lucha Brothers, regardless of my personal feelings of them and the way they perform in the ring, they deserve an entrance as well, especially in a Tag Team Championship Tournament. It didn't have to be long and drawn out, but they could have at least showed them come out to the ring. Make sure you get out there quick, and let's get to this match. Let's go, guys. We don't have a lot of time to waste. Feel like that's a little disrespectful. It's something I complain about when the WWE does it to their superstars. It wouldn't be fair if I didn't complain about it when AEW does it to theirs. I am fair and I am honest, if nothing else. But one other thing I did not enjoy about this very, very dramatic matchup. This was a high-flying spot fest extraordinaire with a lot of fantastic sequences and really great tag team action. Some really good tandem duo maneuvers that would really impress me even more if I was watching a gymnastics competition. Because in professional wrestling, when you get hit with a move, it should hurt. It should at least appear like it hurts. And in this matchup, my big gripe with this, and again, you guys probably for the first time tuning in, oh, this guy's an idiot. But let me explain to you why. You can't not sell and make me feel like wrestling is even remotely real. You're supposed to make me believe it's real. We all know that it's not real. Why do we have to make a mockery of it by having these guys take full-on super kicks to the face and then reciprocating as if they weren't even touched with a high-impact maneuver of their own? And then the other guy will get hit with that high-impact maneuver and he'll bounce off the ropes and then come back with a clothesline like he never even took that high-impact maneuver. And the no-sell offensive style of AEW is going to be the crutch that I bear for this company. It's one of the things that turned me off from New Japan. I went to the G1 Supercard at Madison Square Garden, and I sat there and I watched this show of high spots and maneuvers with nobody ever seemingly feeling anything. And that aggravates me. It aggravates me way more than the Lucha Brothers defeating Private Party in this very flippy, very bouncy, very impressively athletic matchup. And that's also one of my strongest criticisms of the Lucha Brothers as a whole. You can't take traumatic maneuvers and suffer no damage. It's damaging to the match. If you want to just see a bunch of guys flip around with each other, you can go to the circus. This isn't the circus. This is professional wrestling. Holds and moves and offense and, physical damage. These things matter. You're supposed to be telling me a story. The story you're telling me is that you're all fucking invincible. That can't be the case. We're going to come back to this point again when we talk about Mr. Omega, everybody's favorite little one-winged angel, and Joey Janela, the bad boy. Bad boy! What you gonna do? I'm waiting, Joey Janela. What are you gonna do? What's so bad about Joey Janela? He's so bad. It's a bad boy. Why is he a bad boy? Because he wears a leather jacket? Because he's got a hot girlfriend, Penelope Ford? Whatever. Let's not get too far off track. Like I said, we're coming back to that, so get ready. This matchup had a nice amount of time, but like I said, it was not my taste of a match, not my style of match that I truly enjoy. And regardless of my personal relationships with Private Party and my prejudices against the Lucha Brothers, this was an okay match for those of you that enjoy this type of thing. The Lucha Brothers advance to next week's final round in the tournament, the first team to do so. We had a hype video for this Wardlow character. He's lifting weights in the backs. He's flexing iron. He's doing this whole thing. This guy Wardlow is coming. I don't know if they are trying to make Wardlow the AEW version of Walter, but it certainly seems that they're skirting those lines. The broadcast team of JR, Excalibur, and Tony Schiavone gets better and better every single week, and they wanted to give us an update on Christopher Daniels. He's expected to be back in action within the next 6 to 8 weeks after suffering a pinched nerve in the attack by the Lucha Brothers last week, which this could just be my stupid wrestling fan in me wanting to believe, reality, but I feel like this was not meant to happen. This could very well be storyline to sell the tag team matchup even further for the finals of the AEW Championship tournament. But for tag teams, but if it's real, it really sucks. It really sucks, and it lends to my point that the Lucha Brothers are a very dangerous tag team when you wrestle them. They are very stiff, and they don't really protect the guys they're in there with so much, and they're just all about flipping around and making you guys go, whoa, look what I can do. Look what I can do. We watching Mad TV or we watching AEW? Let me stop before some of you guys are like, this guy's an asshole. I'm going to click away. I'm going to unsubscribe because I don't like what he has to say about my precious Lucha Bros. Listen, I love Phoenix. On his own, I thought he was fantastic. I also felt the same way about Pentagon when he was the champion in Impact Wrestling and in his matches with Sami Callihan. Some of those things were fantastic and brutal and awesome. But together as the Lucha Brothers and all this high-flying, lippity-flying Grayson's nonsense, it's not for me. They followed this with the second match in the tournament, immediately following it with the next one so that they could fill out the brackets immediately, I guess. I don't know why this couldn't have been, further into the card, give us a little bit of space, a little bit of breathing room, since that last matchup to open the show was so intense. But we had SCU defeating the Dark Order in what I thought was a kind of crazy matchup. I'm not a big fan of the Dark Order as well. I have personal reasons for that, which we've talked about on this channel before, and I'm not even going to really go into it all that much because it's just stupid of me to even really hold a grudge against people for doing something that probably has nothing to do with what I believe it feels like. But just as a team, I don't get the Dark Order. I don't understand the dynamic between the two of them. They haven't shown us anything. They haven't given us any reasons why these two are a team. There's no vignettes. There's no story behind it. Evil Uno seems to be an interesting character. He's got minions. There's got to be something between him and this Grayson cat, and I would like to know what it is, and maybe if I did know what it is, I would give a shit about the Dark Order when they're in the ring. I don't give a shit what kind of moves the big Evil Uno can do when watching a 400-pound lummox in a mask flop over a top rope here and there and try to wrestle like a luchador. I don't care. Make me care. You make me care. Tell me why these guys are a team. Is Grayson just a minion? Is he like the general of the minions? Or is he equal with Evil Uno? Is he controlling Evil Uno? What is going on with these guys? If you told me any of this, I may be inclined to give a damn. But otherwise, we got the outcome that we needed, the outcome that we all pretty much assumed we were going to get, which was SCU defeating the Dark Order in a somewhat chaotic matchup. The crowd was not... This was a hot crowd all night long. They really didn't give a shit about the Dark Order, probably feeling the same way about them as I did. They were definitely in the corner of SCU the whole time. It had a couple of good spots and a couple of great moments, but in the end, the one thing I really, really disliked the most about this segment had nothing to do with the action going on in the ring. It had nothing to do with the Dark Order and Evil Uno or anything. It has to do with somebody who was last week's Poop Hammer, and just for this single segment alone is going to have to be this week's Poop Hammer award winner as well on this AEW only episode. We debuted this award as part of the AEW versus NXT show, but I feel like I'm just going to pull it out and dump it on people that deserve it. And while it may not have been his decision to interrupt a tag team championship tournament matchup to which nobody involved in the inner circle has absolutely anything to do with, Chris Jericho should have known better. He should have advised against doing such a thing, and what made it even worse was the timing of it. Jericho and company made their way to a luxury box, distracting the crowd, distracting television, distracting commentators away from the action in the ring, just as SCU was making a pivotal comeback in the match. That's wrong. That's something wrong. He could have very easily have come out when Cody Rhodes came out to give his announcement. That he could have came to the luxury box and did the whole entire bit. He didn't have to be there and take the attention away from these four guys in the ring having a high-stakes matchup in a tournament to crown champions. If you think I'm wrong on that, then maybe you, my friends, need to reassess what you think is important in your pro wrestling shows. That's disrespectful to the athletes that are going at it in the ring. It's disrespectful to the guys trying to call the action and to us, the fans. Why is Chris Jericho's inner circle more important than the Tag Team Championship tournament. It shouldn't be. It should not be. On this night it was, and it gets a big check mark off for something wrong with this show. Another thing that was wrong with this show was they went back and showed clips of the AEW dark match between Kenny Omega. The only reason why this is wrong is because for some reason I thought we went live to this match, like we were going to watch the match from AEW Dark. I was a little bit confused on the presentation in a minute. Maybe it's because I stepped away to go and get something to drink and I missed a little something, but hey, listen. What we were getting was a rematch from this AEW Dark match, which I didn't watch. I don't have the time or the availability to watch AEW Dark, although I wish I could. I say the same about NWA Power. I want to watch that show so bad. Everybody's talking so good about it, but I just don't have the time. But this match is coming off of that match. Everybody's talking so highly about that match, I guess they figured we might as well put it on the main show. And they did. And Kenny Omega defeats Joey Janela in a match. And I'm just going to call it that. You guys probably marked out over it. All you Kenny Omegans. Oh, I love Kenny. Oh, Kenny, I love you so much, Kenny. And then you got these Joey Janela people. I will say this. I will say Joey Janela in this outing with Kenny Omega, and from what I've seen in the clips from the AEW Dark match, definitely took some steps up in my book. I've been very hard on Joey Janela. I felt like he was just another one of these spot monkeys. He doesn't stand out from anybody else. He looks just like Hangman Page, who just looks like Kenny Omega, who looks just like everybody else. There's nothing that really stands out about him, but his performance tonight with Kenny Omega was a little something special. It was maybe a little bit of a breakout moment, and even in defeat, you're going to kind of say, wow, that Joey Janela kid hung in there with Kenny Omega. Right, so that's a good thing. That's a good thing. You kind of got Joey Janela on the radar of a lot of people in his AEW debut, even though he took a defeat from Kenny Omega. But here again is where my prejudice of the style that these guys employ come into play. And it never comes into play more than with a guy like Kenny Omega. Everybody that gave Omega and Okada 5, 6, 27 stars for their matches that they've been having, I was not one of those guys. I gave it a solid 3.5 to 4 stars, because really all you need to see is the first 2 minutes of a Kenny Omega match and then the last minute, because everything in between is exactly the same as the first 3 minutes that you've seen. How many times do you need to hit a V trigger? How many times? If it doesn't work the first time and that's your signature move, maybe you should put that signature move on the shelf. Or just put it into your repertoire and not give it a special name and not draw attention to it, because it's not getting the job done, brother. He hit this V-trigger 3 times in this matchup. Why do you gotta hit it so many times? Leave it as the setup for the one-winged angel. Miss it. You use other knee strikes. Do other work to the head to weaken them, and use psychology. Don't just go back to that, oh, I don't know, I feel like he doesn't know what to do, and maybe they're calling it on the fly in the ring, and he loses his train of thought. Maybe he doesn't know what to do next. Oh, I'll just do a V-trigger, pa-pow! And then you got Joey Janela, like I was talking about in the opening segment, taking these V-triggers and everything that Kenny Omega is dishing out. Maybe not every V-trigger, but he takes V-trigger and then he just reciprocates. Reciprocates with offense. Back and forth they went, as if nothing they did had any effect on each other at all. It's one thing if you're a Ricochet or a Hurricane Helms and you're trying to portray a superhero through your character. But you're not real-life superheroes. You're professional wrestlers. If I can't hurt you, then why are we doing this? If I can't make you weaker than me with my best move, then why are we in this ring right now? Why am I trying my best and hitting the same move 3 times in one matchup, multiple times in one matchup? That would be like Eddie Guerrero doing the 3 Amigos triple suplex 3 times in one match. You do that move 1 time. How many times does Cesaro do a swing to one person? Sure, he might do it to 2 times. He might do it twice in one match. but he does it to two separate people. You save special maneuvers. You don't burn them out 4, 5, 6 times in a match. Look at Seth Rollins. What did I say? How many times Seth Rollins hit a fucking curb stomp on Brock Lesnar? What, 7, 8 times? On Bray Wyatt, rather. I don't know why the fuck I said Brock Lesnar. But that's how annoyed I get over this frame of mind when they book their style of wrestling. Something for you guys to chew on. Because I know most of you guys just wide-eyed, watched this, soaked it in, wow, the action was great. And sure it was. It was. These guys were talented. They went out there, they put on a good show. But as a critic, looking in a little bit deeper, I don't prefer that style of wrestling. It was a very good match. The crowd was extremely into it. It got a "This is awesome" chant, and I definitely wouldn't go that far. This was a very great outing for both of these guys. Kenny Omega wins with the one-winged angel and the pin. We then have Cody Rhodes come out. Nice entrance. He's got those light things raising up. He's ascending from beneath the floor. Awesome entrance for Cody. This segment I really wasn't too much of a fan of. I thought they could have done better, but this is what we get. We got Cody coming out for this announcement with Shivani. We got the Inner Circle blowing air horns, trying to distract people, which here it makes sense. And here's where it should have been the whole time. It shouldn't have happened with them distracting the crowd during a match. This was the opportune time for them to come out while Cody Rhodes is about to make his announcement, start blowing their air horns. Oh shit, what's that? Oh look, it's the Inner Circle. And then you start the back and forth between Cody Rhodes and Chris Jericho, which was kind of lame. You know, Chris Jericho threw a little bit of shade at... Oh, well, I'm skipping ahead, but let's not skip ahead. Let's go in order here. Cody Rhodes, rather, threw a little bit of shade at first to WWE, telling Chris Jericho, hey, listen, there's no invisible wall here like that other company we used to work for. I will come up there and whoop your ass. But obviously, he was outnumbered. Chris Jericho made that a fact. It's 4-1. You ain't coming up here. Shut your mouth, little Cody Rhodes. And then that weird Green Day version song, or Green Day remake song, or whatever you call it. Green Leg. Holy shit. Green Day knockoff, I guess is the best way to do it. Discount Green Day theme of Big Brother Dustin Rhodes comes out to stand up side by side with his bro. And now I thought here, this would be fantastic spot tonight to see the Young Bucks. The Young Bucks are already entwined with the Inner Circle. They got their sights set on Santana and Ortiz. They are involved in this segment. Cody and the Bucks are good friends. Great. Let's do it. But then the music hits, and MJF comes out wearing his Burberry scarf, standing there smiling. And now I start to cringe. And now I start to dislike the segment. Because MJF is the best heel. The best heel. Better than Jericho. Better than anybody else on that roster. If you want somebody to get that crowd hot, you want somebody to piss these fans off, you want somebody to talk people into coming down and spending their money into a ticket to see this said person get their ass kicked, you can call MJF and he will get the job done. He does not need to be playing second fiddle in a bullshit babyface role while he's outside the arena before the show flipping off fans. He's on Twitter telling off fans, being a real ripe asshole. And then you see him come out on AEW Dynamite smiling, standing there next to Dustin Rhodes, coming out to defend his buddy. These two things do not co-align, and they should not be happening. If you'd had nothing else for MJF, leave him off TV. Just give him promo segments. He should not be involved with this storyline. I don't care that they're best friends. That's something that should be left for backstage. This is not the time to blur the lines because nobody's even had the opportunity to enjoy or to be really exposed much to the brilliance of MJF. And even if this somewhere down the line is leading to an epic turn by MJF on his former best friend, I still feel like this was too soon to do that. You could have had MJF establish himself as the villain over the course of AEW's first year, and then start that program between MJF and Cody next year. Once you have a great fan base, everybody knows who MJF is. He's been Cody's friend, but he's still an asshole, and then finally Cody gets himself into some trouble, and MJF comes for the save. Unexpectedly. And then you build off of that, doing it so quickly, before half of the people that are tuning into AEW even know what MJF stand for, is going to confuse people off the bat. Then again, maybe not. We'll have to wait and see just how far this goes. This would get tremendously worse, because out of everybody that AEW has in their bullet holders, they pull out the DDP card. Diamond Dallas Page. Diamond Dallas Page. Is he supposed to be Cody's equivalent for Chris Jericho? Another 50-year-old dude? Like, well, they got a 50-year-old dude. We need a 50-year-old dude. I don't understand that at all. Jake Hager wasn't even in the building tonight. He's too busy worried about his MMA fight. And you bring out Diamond Dallas Page. That's going to even the odds. You think Santana and Ortiz are afraid of Diamond Dallas Page? Sammy Guevara, what's he going to do against a Diamond Dallas Page? Really, nothing. But why Diamond Dallas Page? Really? His spot's behind the scenes. I don't mind seeing him being part of the Nightmare family and all this shit, but what's he going to have, a match? Is he going to be in there in the ring? We got Dustin Rhodes and we got DDP. Goldust and Diamond Dallas Page. And MJF. That's the best Cody's got. Anyway, once both sides were formed, Cody's team made his way up to the announce team, the luxury box, and then Chris Jericho and his friends would lock himself in the little sub box in the luxury box. I don't even know what it was. It was like a little side room to their private room. Cody Rhodes then takes the Burberry scarf, which MJF wraps around his hand, and puts his fist right through the glass. Opens the door, and I'm sitting there going, oh my God, everybody watch out for the glass. It's dangerous, man. And then a brawl would ensue. This got a little bit too chaotic. It was very hard to follow. The action was everywhere. It seemed to me, in my estimation, that Cody Rhodes and company got the best of this altercation, but it was not very clear. By the way they filmed this thing, it was a little bit all over the place. But it was okay. We had some interesting barbs thrown back and forth between these guys. Chris Jericho wanted to mention MJF's scarf, and he's like, "Who wears a scarf?" I laughed at some of that stuff, but and you're supposed to. You were meant to laugh at this segment. You were meant to get behind Cody Rhodes, and you were meant to hate Chris Jericho even more. And I think they succeeded at doing all those things, but his team was just a little bit lacking impact. I don't know what my problem is tonight. Holy shit. Maybe I'm just tired. So let's get through the rest of this review. The Young Bucks defeating the Best Friends. We had a face-off between two teams that lost and were eliminated from the tag team tournament. This was unnecessary. Like I said, these guys, the Young Bucks, could have been in the previous segment. Could have been side by side with Cody and Dustin, standing up for Cody, then throwing down their, not throwing it down, but accepting the challenge that was laid out by Santana and Ortiz. Why we had to have them defeat the Best Friends and have the Best Friends now have a losing record and all this nonsense that's supposed to mean something as we go down the line in AEW, I don't know. We didn't need a third tag team matchup on this night after two really wild tag team matches with really high stakes involved. This match just seemed for nothing. It featured an appearance of a freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, which I still do not get. This guy is now part of the Best Friends, and he very lazily, orangey, dropped a drop kick and it didn't do nothing to the Young Bucks, and I don't see the appeal. I know, no pun intended, the appeal. Gotta get your appeal in Orange. I don't see an appeal to Orange Cassidy. I don't care if he's got vitamin C, if he's got no pulp, extra pulp. Orange Cassidy is not for me until I see him go in that ring and fucking do something, bro. I know a lot of you guys are asking me to give Orange Cassidy a chance. I am very willing to give Orange Cassidy a chance. I need to see him in the ring wrestling. And if all he does is keep his hands in his jeans and throw lackadaisical kicks and do crazy stunts that he shouldn't be doing with his hands in his pockets, then I'm not interested. I'm not. I'm telling you right now. You think I have a problem with Marco Stunt? I have just as much of a problem with a guy like Orange Cassidy. Anyway, this match was really for nothing. After the match, the Bucks accepted Santana and Ortiz's challenge for Full Gear. They played a hype video for Dr. Britt Baker leading into her matchup with Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter is an unknown, making her AEW debut tonight, and she did a pretty decent job in this match with Britt Baker. This match did exactly what it needed to do. It got Britt Baker some exposure. We had an Adam Cole sighting tonight. They showed a picture of Britt with her bow, which I thought was a little shot to the WWE. Let's put a picture of her up with her boyfriend. They can't say anything about that. We just had Adam Cole on AEW Dynamite. Holy shit. That's as deep as this war's gonna get, you guys. Pictures of Adam Cole. Because you'll never see Adam Cole over here. Well, not anytime soon, anyway. This was a good match for Britt Baker. Following her loss to the champion Rio, she needs to reestablish herself. She needs to get herself back on track. It was a very good women's match. It felt a little rushed at times, I'm not going to lie. You know, the girls seemed to be trying to get to their spots and rushing into moments here and there and almost missed a few. But thankfully they didn't. This was an entertaining matchup between two very talented females, and I liked it. I thought it was good. Thought it was much better than anything that we've seen on WWE main roster recently from just the main girls. You know, if you put like a Ember Moon and a Mandy Rose in there, you're not going to get anything like what we saw with a Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter. But I was okay with it. We didn't get any women's action at all on Monday Night Raw. That's how much they think of the women on their roster, so I can't be that far off with my assessment. The broadcast team then again plugged next week's show and hyped the pay-per-view, and then had an interview with Hayter, who just lost, and this wouldn't go anywhere. The guy was about to ask a question, and before Jamie Hayter could answer his question, Brandy Rhodes came out of nowhere. She attacked Jamie Hayter and then put her finger in the face of Jen Decker, who was the interviewer, and walked away. It'll be interesting to see what comes of that. This leads us to tonight's main event, a match that I kind of had a little bit of a problem with them booking, but by the end of this night, AEW would prove that they are not as stupid as a Vince McMahon. They know what they are doing, and this was very, very smart. This was a smart maneuver. They had a high-profile matchup between Jon Moxley and the Bastard Pac as the main event of tonight's show. My biggest concern is, what are you going to do? How are you going to give Moxley a loss? How are you going to give Pac a loss? What are you going to have, like a no contest ending? Because that might be the only way you can do it. And then they actually took it one step further, made it one step a little bit better. They had the time limit expire. And in this one moment, with this main event, in this matchup, AEW is showing you that they understand professional wrestling and are going to give you guys stuff that makes more sense than the WWE. Because the WWE forgot that this is a thing that they can use to craft a story. We had a great main event matchup. Very wild. Moxley, with his best performance in AEW to date, it wasn't a hardcore spot fest. It wasn't just him being all wild and crazy. He was actually having a match with Pac. Pac is one of the best in the world. It's no surprise there. But this match, using the time limit draw as its finish, proves to me that they are on the right track. Nobody wins. Nobody loses. All of us were entertained. The crowd might not have liked it in Pittsburgh because they didn't get to see a winner, but they'll be enjoying the shit out of it when we get a rematch at a later date for something even bigger. They made the right move. I judged them for booking this match so quickly and not saving it for a bigger moment, but what they did here tonight, having them go to the time limit draw, is going to make more people interested going forward. These guys, it was the same thing that they did for Cody Rhodes and Darby Allin. The only thing is, they didn't follow up on that. Here they're going to follow up on it. Maybe at Full Gear, when Moxley takes on Omega, Pac gets involved and costs Moxley the match. And now this feud continues on. I'm all in on it. I think this was great. I thought it was Moxley's best performance to date, maybe ever. He actually wrestled. It wasn't too much of just a brawl. There was some really good stuff in this matchup. It all started off before the bell even happened. Jon Moxley was enjoying his entrance, and then he was attacked from behind by Pac. He would get beat the hell down with a steel chair. He would be choked with his own jacket. It was very intense. Pac is just amazing at what he does. This main event was very, very good. Definitely one of the top contenders for match of the night on this night. We now have to go and watch NXT and see what's going on over there, because I've heard some good things about what's happening on the other gold brand in sports entertainment. But the yellow and black night of the week kicks off pretty strong with a solid episode of AEW Dynamite. I've given you guys my criticisms, and that is why you come here. If you just wanted to go watch somebody tell you, the AEW is so wonderful, everything they did was so great, and no mistakes, they make no mistakes, everything is great. Those people that tell you that, they suck at being wrestling fans. And don't be one of those people. Be a sledgehead. Use your brain. See through the nonsense. Expect more. Demand better quality. We don't need more wrestling. We need better wrestling. And there's so much wrestling now that it should be paramount for them to make the biggest statement and have the best show. And after tonight, after watching Dynamite, you cannot dispute the fact that AEW is at least trying to have the best show of the week. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed today's show, if you enjoyed AEW Dynamite, if you enjoyed any of my criticisms and what I had to say. Smash that like button right now. Don't forget to drop your own criticisms and raise your hammers and bring them down in the comments section. Let me know the one thing you didn't like about tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. Even if it's one of the things that I highlighted, maybe you could elaborate more. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. I can't wait to hear about it as usual. Then share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world so that they can see, even though AEW Dynamite was pretty damn good tonight, they still have some work to do, but they seem to be on the right track. With the exception of that whole Jericho thing, which is why he got the poop hammer. Everything else was quite alright. Don't forget to join the family. Become one of my brothers and sisters in the Sledgehead Army. We got t-shirts in the works. We are going to kick off 2020 and try to take over YouTube one sub at a time, and it all starts with an awesome wrestling fan just like you. Hit that subscribe button right now. Hit the notification bell so that you don't miss a thing, because there's always stuff being fired out on this wrestling channel. We will be here tomorrow night for the NXT review. We will be here Friday night for SmackDown Live, and since we will be wrestling free this weekend, you can watch everything else we've had on the channel. Everything wrong with Monday Night Raw. Everything wrong with SmackDown Live. Everything wrong with last week's episode, if this was your first time watching us here on AEW. And our very special drawing, Sasha Banks, the latest installment, thank you, Mr. Mike, of the Sledgehammer Shorts series, the fun series where you can watch me take an hour and a half to 2 hours of work, depending on what composition I have chosen, and have it crammed down into 2 minutes of speed drawing, time-lapse, artistic fun. If you like watching art come to life, check out Drawing Sasha Banks on our Sledgehammer Short series, available right now on Sledgehammer TV. That, my friends, is all I have for tonight. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, his tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball, the most important member of the team. As always, it's each and every one of you, and that, my friends, is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com.